Hey guys. So the green's all been filed away. The red's sorted by casting costs. Got a couple cards a handful of cards put aside that I wanted to mention. Black's not getting done today. Figure, what's today? Wednesday? Do the black on Thursday. Take out the blue on Friday. Maybe I'll be able to squeeze Artifact in there. We'll see. We shall see. I'm not making any promises on that one, you know. I've had to revise the plan a couple of times because I'm taking my damn sweet time. I also haven't slept since I made the last video either. Like I said, you know, the holiday weekend screwed my sleep all up, but unfortunately right now I'm you can't really say between jobs when you've been out of work for over a year. Yeah. No bueno. But anyways, yeah, so like the other day when I said I was waiting on an email, it was actually from a prospective employer. So, yeah. But that's kind of up in the air right now. So I'm crossing the fingers on that one, so forth and whatnot. And then, of course, you know, this Friday night gotta be drafting, and then Saturday's the M12 pre-release. Which reminds me, in one of my much earlier videos, I was talking about burn cards, and I brain farted, and talking about the reprintings of Lightning Bolt, and I brain farted and said M11 when I meant M10, and M12 when I meant M11. Someone pointed out to me a long time ago, and I didn't think about it while doing a video until just now. Yeah. So anyways, red in Urza Saga. We got all sorts of fun stuff going on in here. We've got Goblin Matron, 2 colors in red for a 1/1. When it hits the board, search your library for a goblin, reveal, put it in hand, shuffle. That thing is disgustingly good. I think it's... I'm trying to remember if it's banned or restricted in any format. I don't recall. And it's really good. And Lorwyn made it better, because then you could search for enchantments and sorceries that were tribal with the goblin subtype. Or if they were changeling to spells as well, you know? Crazy stuff. There was some burn. Urza Saga. Questionable at times. Arc Lightning, 2 colors and a red for a sorcery. 3 damage divided as you choose amongst any number of target creatures and or players. It's probably been eroded to say up to 3 creatures and or players. All well and good. Sneak Attack! I got 3 of those. It's a nice card. It's a fun card. I've never really used it, strangely enough. It's 3 colors and a red for an enchantment. You pump a single red mana into it, take a creature from your hand, put it directly into play, it gains haste, end of turn, you sacrifice that creature. Oh yeah, that's some awesome right there. Before I forget about it, another theme we had. Urza's block was originally designed to be enchantment-centric, which is kind of funny because the artifacts, for the most part, ended up stealing the show. But, you know, we saw that with some really good auras, like the Cycle of Auras, that when they go to the graveyard from play, you return them to your hand. The Cycle of Auras that make your creature big and give it something color-specific. For instance, the Sarah's Blessing, which made your creature, gave your creature +2/+2 flying and vigilance, made it ape a Sarah Angel The green version gave the creature +3/+3 trample and regeneration. I don't think that really apes a specific creature, to be honest. I could be wrong on that. I don't remember any like big creatures with trample and regeneration printed up to this point. I could be brain farting. I don't know. If there is, it's Tempest. At least that's what I think. The red one, Shiv's Embrace. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 flying and fire breathing. That is, you can pump red mana to give the creature +1/+1 until end of turn. So, you know, there's a reference to Shiv and Dragon right there. The black version, Vampiric Embrace. I stumbled over that one the other day. Basically makes an enchanted creature ape a Sanger Vampire. The blue one, Zephid's Embrace, is kind of unique because Zephid didn't exist until this set, and it didn't really catch on. It basically gives enchanted creature +2/+2 flying and Shroud. That's kind of new, different, and well, it didn't say Shroud at the time, but I think it would now. I have to check the errata. It's probably been changed to say Shroud. But anyways, enchantments, cycles, stuff. They had there was each color had a couple of cards with something related to them that was usually musically themed. For instance, here we have Torch Song and Rumbling Crescendo. Crescendo. Torch Song is 2 colors in a red. During your upkeep, you may put a verse counter on it. You pay 2 colors in a red, sacrifice it for X damage target creature or player, where X is the number of verse counters on it. As an interesting aside, Torch Song is actually very, very similar to New Phyrexia Shrine of Burning Rage, except that it doesn't have a way to accumulate counters faster, and this is a red source, and it costs more mana to play, and it requires specific mana when you sacrifice it. But it doesn't require tap to sacrifice. I think I've mentioned before, I think it would be nice to have enchantments with tap abilities, but yeah. Story, J, another goes there. Rumbling Crescendo. I think I'm hacking that more or less correctly. During your upkeep, you may put a verse counter, blah blah blah, red, sacrifice it, destroy up to X target lands where X is the number of verse counters on Rumbling Crescendo. We also had a surprising number of X-based casting cost cards in Urzas. We had Meltdown, X in red for sorcery, destroy each artifact with casting cost X or less. Outmaneuver, X in red, instant X target blocked creatures deal combat damage to defending player instead of 2 blocking creatures. Fault Line, X in double red. There's Meltdown. There's Outmaneuver. Fault Line. X in double red, instant X damage to each creature without flying in each player. It's basically an instant speed earthquake, which isn't bad. Goblin Offensive, it's a sorcery. X1 red. Put X1 red goblin tokens into play. And then we had an interesting note, Heat Ray. X in red, instant, deals X damage to our creature. There were a lot of people when Heat Ray first came out that weren't particularly keen on it. It's good in draft, and it's been reprinted a handful of times since. I want to say it was originally in one of the... No, it wasn't originally. It couldn't have originally been in Portal because Portal didn't have instance. So it has a very Portal feel to it, because before Heat Ray, we were used to X-based damage spells being sorceries, but having some kind of an extra to them. Like, you had Disintegration, where if you did damage to a creature with it, that creature could not be regenerated. You had Fireball, which you could pay extra mana and divide the damage between multiple targets. Well, so you had Lava Burst. The damage couldn't be prevented. We had Karvik's Torch could not be countered by blue. I want to say it was instants. Well, instants and interrupts at the time. I'm not sure if it applied to activated abilities. Basically, blue instants targeting Karvik's Torch are countered unless they pay well, I don't know what the current wording is, but basically, if you want to target it with a blue instant, you have to pay an extra 2 colorless. I have to actually look up what the technical text on it is now, because it's actually it's a mechanically very different thing if it says it's countered if they don't pay 2 colorless instead of it just plain costs 2 more. It can actually make a difference at times, believe it or not. What else was I gonna say now? What else? Then we had like Rolling Thunder in Tempest Block, which was X red for a sorcery, X damage divided as you choose amongst any number of creatures and players. Meteor Shower and Ice Age, which honestly was not terrifically good. It was like, I'm trying to remember what it was like, XX1 red or something crazy like that. I can't recall off the top of my head. And it was X damage divided as you chose amongst any number of creatures and players. Meteor Shower was never popular because it was overcosted for what it did. They were basically trying to make a more flexible version of Fireball, but they, quite bluntly put, they were afraid of making it too efficient. And to a certain degree, I understand that. I really do. Because you don't want to make, damaging spells and effects too mana efficient. You don't want, talking about this. At the time, the only thing Red had that resembled a board sweeper was Earthquake, and it wasn't bad either, mind you. But it was unilateral. It was a universal board sweep. You take out your creatures, you'd hurt yourself, etc., etc. So, that wasn't considered too overpowered, but it was still known back in the day to be really, really good. But, so yeah, Heat Ray, people didn't like the fact that you could only target creatures with it. The fact that it was an instant, though, was nice compensation. And looking back on it, I think I probably judged the card a little bit too harshly back in the day. Heavens forbid, it's also a common. It's a common. At that rarity level, yeah, that's actually not all that bad. Just talking about it right now, I've actually seriously reevaluated my stance on the card. I had not seriously thought about it in years, I know it was reprinted not all that long ago. I want to say somewhere in Zendikar block, if I recall correctly. And, I played it because it was creature removal, but I never actually stopped and I never really stopped and thought about how much I didn't like it back in the day, and I think my view on it really has softened over the years, That I'm just going soft in the head, one of the two. So, call this video a wrap, maybe get something to eat, and see about getting some sleep before the afternoon is out, because I don't know, stuff's weird. Of course, I've been feeling kind of weird since, like the 4th. Woke up with, the most obscure freaking, headache. I'm not sure if I could call it a headache, I don't know. It was, pain in one of the eyes, and now, the pain's not really in the eye anymore. Now it's, more on the edges of the socket. So I don't know what the heck's going on there. The first one of you to shout out, "It's not a tumor," or something, It's like, Maybe it's a tumor. It's not a tumor. It's like, damn it, I'm only 35. I'm too young to have cancer. Screw you all. Actually, that's not true. I'm not too young to have cancer. I remember a guy I knew when I was in Germany. Kid was a private. He apparently had cancer like 2 or 3 times during the course of his childhood. And it's just like, really? That's fucking rough, dude. I want to say his last name was Odenbar or Ogenbar or something like that. I'm trying to remember. A lot of people just called him Odie. Poor guy. But you know what? He didn't let it slow him down. I'll give the dude credit on that one. All the credit in the world. Oh well. Be good, peoples. Catch you tomorrow.